Hey guys, happy Tuesday. Thanks for joining me tonight. My name's Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make lovely and quirky hand embroidery kits. And I'm here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time, and it's a time where we can relax and craft together and work on a project. And I typically work on projects from beginning to end, so you can be part of the whole process here. All right guys, we are going to continue the Splendid Sampler to quilt along, and we got the catnap block. We almost finished the embroidery. We finished the main embroidery of it. So all we have to do is add his itty bitty whiskers right there. And then we have the little patchwork quilt to add to it as well. So we prepped them already. Those are little applique pieces. And once we get those applique pieces fused on, we will blanket stitch around the edges of them. So we are definitely getting towards the end of this block. So that'll be one more ticked off, which will be lovely. So I'm hoping we can get it done before New Block Thursday. So every Thursday a new block is released. So if we can get this done between today and tomorrow, we'll be pretty good. We will be in pretty good shape. So I'm gonna flip you around and we'll keep going. This is little Chad the cat. All right, flipping you around. Okay, here's our other finished one. So we have this guy, and we'll soon have this guy done. Then we still need two more to do our little four patches. So we've been sewing them. We've been sewing 4 blocks together, and then I've been kind of quilting them as we go. This one I don't have quilted yet, but I thought I'm in the mood to finish some more blocks. So instead of quilting that one, I've started up some more blocks here. So let's keep going. I think I wanted to do the little gold for the whiskers, and I have it here. I think it's just one. Let's see, I'm reading the instructions. Straight stitch, use 2 strands and a running stitch for the girl. Petals, keep stitching. Embroider. I'm not sure it says to use 1 or 2 strands, so I think we'll just use 1 strand for the whiskers. So I'm going to just separate the 1. Just pull it right on out. And all right, let's sit down and finish these bitty bitty whiskers. Oh, he's so cute. So we did the kitty with the stem stitch all the way around. This I'm just gonna do in a couple just real big stitches. Oh, Dawn, happy birthday! Have a lovely time with your movie and the hubs. All right, I'm gonna weave this in. Just weaving into the backs of some stitches that are already there. Ooh, I might sneeze. So I had a huge cooking fail today, and the kitchen is still just all over the place from it. I've been making juice, and I've been saving the pulp, and I thought, ooh, what if I just cook all the pulp in a slow cooker, and then just kind of immersion blend it and turn it into something. And there was a lot of this pulp, so I cooked it all up. It makes the house smell good. Like, it smells like I'm making some really good chicken soup or something. But that is not what it tastes like. So I tried to make it better, but it just tastes like a lot of stringy celery pulp. Even after I put it in the real blender, the Vitamix that should pulverize it all, and ugh, it's just gross. So that's a fail, but I have been using it to make soup stock, and I think maybe I'll just keep making soup stock and then make some real soup. That'd be good, but man, I have a ton of dishes everywhere, and the blender's dirty, everything's dirty. So I'll be doing that after, after I'm done here tonight, you guys. Thought I could maybe turn it into something, but I think I'm calling it quits. I put some other stuff in it and some tomato sauce in it, and I thought, oh, maybe this could be okay, or noodles or something, but I don't know. Maybe I'll still put it in the fridge. Maybe I'll come up with some reason to eat it yet. All right, I'm gonna snip this. And we are done with the main embroidery part of this. So that's exciting. Here we go. Oh, those little whiskers just add so much. So there we are. Next up, I'm going to get a little higher for you guys here. Next up, we're going to add on our little applique pieces. So we're going to speed through this today. We've already put the fusible on the back. And I'm using that Steam-A-Seam 2 that we've been using. Here's what it looks like right here, the Steam-A-Seam 2. And the nice thing about this fusible is that it acts like a sticker. So it has 2 sticky sides. So it's covered with paper, and then you fuse one side to your fabric, cut it out, and then you can fuse the other side, but then by taking the paper off, and then you have the second fusible side. But the nice thing about the Steam-A-Seam fusible is that it's actually sticky. So I can actually place these where they're supposed to be before I go over to the iron, which is nice because I can just stay in my spot here, put everything where I want, take it off, put it back, and then fuse it. Ooh, yes, Jennifer, stay safe. Sending sparkles your way. Hopefully everything ends up being okay. All right, here's this guy. So I can tell these have been sitting around for a while. This is one of our unfinished blocks. So this block is, we've had it for a while, and I can tell that the Steam-A-Seam is not as sticky anymore. It's still sticky enough, but that's kind of interesting. We fused the one side a while back, and it's still sticky enough, but it's definitely different than starting fresh. But luckily, we're gonna be okay. Oh my God, it's so cute with the fabric pieces in there. It really adds a lot. So, all right. See, now I can lift it over to the iron and it's not going to fall off. If I would have done this with a different fusible, double-sided fusible, I'd have to do this at the ironing board. So, all right, let's go see the messy ironing board. So we have been embroidering, and man, when we do embroidery here, we make a huge mess. So here's the original pattern. This is how, these are the colors she chose. We're going to do that blanket stitch around yet after we fuse it, but first I want to make sure we fuse this. Here's the book, Splendid Sampler 2. Here it is on the cover right there. And I'm just clearing my little area. I just toss all my embroidery thread to the side when I'm done with it. So we'll use some of this yet for that blanket stitch. And man, pile of scissors. I got three scissors in my immediate area here. Crazy. Okay, here we are. I know, Chad's quilt is so cute, isn't it? So, all right, here we are. I have my iron. I am just going to fuse this on. I'm going to try and avoid hitting my stitches. This should be nice and hot already. So it's stuck on already with the you know, the stickiness from the fusible, but I want to, you know, you got to fuse it for real with the iron, and that should get it to stick forever and ever. And then we'll just sew it down with the blanket stitch. Lately, when we've been doing this, I've just been sewing it down with the sewing machine, but we have all this embroidery around the piece already that it'd be kind of weird to add some machine embroidery. It'd be fine, but you know, we're gonna stick to that blanket stitch. If I go over it a little bit, I'm thinking it's okay. I just don't want to flatten my stitches too much. That's why I'm just kind of trying to stay on the outskirts. See how we did here. Yeah, I think we're attached. Ooh, maybe that little corner I'll get again. Maybe that corner too. Oh, we'll get all the corners. I was just a little shy of getting too close to the embroidery stitches, but let's get right up in there. Get right to the corner. I am going to go over my stitches a little bit. I'd rather have those corners fused. We're going to stitch them down, but you know, I'd still like to make sure they're fused. I like these fabrics that we chose for this because they're subtle yet they're not overpowering Chad. I wanted Chad. Chad is my parents' cat. That's who I keep referring to. Chad the kitty. But I don't think they're overpowering Chad. But I don't think Chad looks too overpowering either. It's a nice pale light blend, which is kind of my whole quilt. Actually, this is going to look a whole lot like how my quilt's going to turn out. A lot of white and then just a couple little neutrals, a pop of color every once in a while. And maybe a kitty laying on it someday, who knows. That would be nice. Bring it home and Chad can lay on it. All right, so, ooh, I bent this a little bit, kind of funny. That's okay. So this is, all we have to do now is blanket stitch around all these edges, and I'm thinking, let's see, wondering what to do for color. What she did here is just use the same as the background color, so she's blanket stitching with the green, and you know, she did the green running stitch. I think maybe I'll do the same. So I used gray for the background, gray hiding out here. Ooh, good, here's a piece. I'm gonna do 2 strands together. I think that's what it says. Embroider the design using 1 strand of embroidery floss and a stem stitch to outline the cat. Use back stitches for the eyes and straight stitches for nose, whiskers, paws. Use 2 strands and a running stitch for the grid, crosses, and petal. When stitching the crosses and petal, it doesn't say for the, maybe that's on the next page. Oh yeah, blanket stitch using 2 strands of embroidery floss. Okay, got it. So I have this 2 strands just happen to be here, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna thread it, and I think I'm gonna still try and, well, I was thinking I'd try and weave in the stitches still, but I think I might just tie this into a knot this time. So one thing that we have to consider is that we need to trim down this block, and I'll show you what I mean. Like ultimately, this is gonna be a 6.5 inch square. We started with a 7-inch square just because we're handling it a lot, and you know, it'll get nice and good from trimming it again. It looks like I marked it for myself already, so my past self is helping out present self right now. So what I'm going to do, I have these points marked all around. That's my 6.5 inch mark. I'm going to make sure that I start stitching within the 6.5 inch area. So I don't want to start stitching on the edge because eventually I'll cut that off and I will have cut my knot and then my stitches might start to come out. I'm not concerned about that once I get sewing, like once this is all stitched into the quilt, but for right now, I want to make sure that I start on the inside of the block here. So let's see, I'm just trying to remember how to do this again. I'm going to come up, like I said, a little to the inside. So I don't know, I'm about 1/8 on the inside here. So this is going to be my first blanket stitch. So similar to how I had with the stem stitch, I'm keeping a loop where I know if I'm above or below my line of stitching. I'm going to keep this above, and I'm going to, we came out of the fabric here, I'm going to go about a stitch length away this way along the edge and a stitch length down perpendicular to that edge. So I'm just going to go right about there. Ooh, I might need a sharper needle for this. Going through all of this fusible. All right, we'll be fine. So still we can use the sewing method with the blanket stitch. So I can just go down and come back up. So we're kind of making a 90-degree angle there. And I'm going to make sure that my loop is around the back. All right. So then my thread will be catching that loop. All right, so that's our first blanket stitch there. So if it wasn't for this thread holding that loop in place, or that little kind of slack in place, we would have just like a straight line. But we caught it with that loop. So let's do that again. So I'm going to go a stitch length over and a stitch length down. We're going to stab it in there. Ooh, I just broke my needle, you guys. That's interesting. All right, I'm going to grab a new needle here. We'll get a nice sharp one. So here's Zeb. We'll get Zeb out again. I'm going to just grab, this one's nice and sharp. We'll do that guy. Okay, thread that up. And the same thing, we'll go in and out. Wow, that's tough stuff. Oh, look, I'm bleeding too. No. All right, we'll try not to get blood all over this. How about that? So back around the end there. Oh, I did get a little on. I'll have to zout that out. Sad. I think I just got it on right there. So we'll keep going. Stitch over, stitch down. It'll be just like when Chad gets sick of me, then he'll get scratchy. Yeah, I'll have to just, I'll get like a Tide pen and see if that'll get it out. I think I'll survive. Ooh, it really is getting everywhere though, isn't it? I think I better start with a fresh thread. There we go. That end was bloody. All right, hold on, guys. Let's just rinse that off real quick here. I'll be right back. Okay. Let's see how that goes. I just rinsed it off. Get my mic back on. Saliva will get it out of the fabric? Yeah, with all the dishes I need to do, it'll get clean. All right, let's give this another try. I think we're good now. Oh, we haven't had an injury in a while, have we? Man, this is a sharp needle, and it is just tough going through this. So actually, you know what? This is the first time that I'm going through the steam-a-seam, that I'm embroidering through the steam-a-seam. We've just been sewing with the sewing machine through it in the past. So man, I don't know. Maybe I would think twice about doing this again. Just because it is, I mean, it's several layers of fabric. It's the 2 layers of fabric. We have the background fabric, the foreground fabric, and then that fusible. So it's really the fusible that's giving us the bit. So, all right, I'm approaching a corner here. And what I want to do is I'm about 2 stitches away, right? Well, I have one more stitch right here. But I want one to go in the corner too, so I'm going to do a stitch, 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 and it'll be like this little kind of 3-pronged foot, like chicken foot looking guy here. And it's all going to use the same hole. So I'm going to go like a 45-degree angle off of this and then kind of stay in line here. I've never heard that saliva thing. The enzymes in your saliva match the proteins in your blood, and that's how it stops. All right, threads in the back. All right, now I'm using that same hole and I'm going up to the center. And sometimes just to keep that nice point, sometimes I'll do it like a cheater stitch. I'll go onto the other side of my thread and then I'll grab just like 2 little strands and then come back up the other side. See, so I just grabbed a little piece of fabric and that's gonna hold that point in place. So now we're starting the next row here. So I've rotated, now I'm going this way. Oh, to take out the blood stains. That's interesting. All right, we'll have to give that a try. A little creepy, I gotta say, but we'll give it a try. All right, so there's our nice turn there. So we kind of got that 3-prong thing going. All right, let's head over to this side. I'm pretty sure I'm going to run out of thread, so we will have to try another one. But that's easy enough. Maybe we can at least get to the end here. Oh, that kind of makes sense, Robin. So I'm still using the sewing method where I'm going in and out with this in the same motion. And that's kind of fun. So this entire block really was all about the sewing method of embroidery. I've never focused on a project that on purpose solely focused on a technique like that. So that was the sewing method. So that was kind of fun. This gray really blends into this fabric well, I think. All right, I might, well, yeah, I think we can get to the corner, hopefully. 2 more stitches, then we can, so this again, I'm gonna kind of split the difference here and I'm gonna think 45-degree angle. So about 45-degree angle and about, trying to still line it up here. Go right about there. Is it hard to sew with a hoop? If I were to do this with a hoop, well, first of all, this would be tough because it's right on the edge, so you can't really get a hoop holding this very well on the edge like this. And I would do the stab method with a hoop. I would go all the way down and then come back up. I wouldn't do this sewing method where I go in and out in the same motion. So in this case, I think without works well. Steam a seam too light is easier to sew through. Okay, that's great, Linda. I'll have to look into that into the future because yeah, this is definitely stiffer than the fusibles I've used in the past. So all right, I have just barely enough thread here, and this is a good spot because now I can just kind of tack down that corner again. So I'm just going to go on the other side of it. And there. that will hold that point in place. Yep, DNA's in the quilt now. All right, and then I'm just gonna weave in this end to whatever's nearby. And we will get some more floss here. It's a bummer that I couldn't make it. I just had maybe 5 more stitches or so. Man, sometimes I'm just perfect with getting the right amount of thread for stitches, but we haven't been too lucky this time. We've been off by just a little bunch of times. All right, here's the gray. I think this little, oh, that's the DNA piece. All right. Let's isolate this gray from the mess. A little scrappy. So all this thread is from my scrap pile, so that's why it's kind of a mess. All right, I'm gonna get maybe a little longer piece, and then I can hopefully use it for the next section as well. Gretchen, I hear ya. I could not do that either. All right, I'm gonna grab 2 strands. I'm gonna pull them out one at a time. So here's the first. Again, all this kind of goes slack. Just run my hand through it, and I'll get the second piece, just isolating one thread, pulling it out. All right, now I can put these 2 strands back together. All right, and I think I'm just gonna try just using a knot again. I don't typically like using knots. I like weaving into the backs of stitches, but I think we'll just get her done and do it as a knot. It's like wrapping it around my needle a few times and pulling it through, kind of like I'm doing a French knot almost. All right, I'm gonna come up as if I didn't have to switch threads, so I'm gonna come up at the point again. It's where we left off. There we go. Now I can rotate. Just get this last little bit, and remember, I'm gonna end it inside that 6.5 inch. So here's the end marker and the 6.5 inch marker here. So I'm not gonna, let's say I'm not gonna go past this last little flower. I'm gonna stay to the left side of that flower. All right, so back into that same hole again to finish this corner. All right, maybe 4 more stitches, 4 or 5. Yeah, the Steam-A-Seam too light, I will definitely have to look into that because this is not easy. And I know that this is a super sharp needle, and for me to still have trouble. That other needle, I think this tapers a little more slowly. The other needle had a sharp point, but it kind of bulges out sooner than this one. And it was a thinner needle, and so that didn't fare well. Poor little needle broke. This one's a little heftier needle. All right, get down here for the last couple stitches. Keep catching that fabric. Let's see. We'll try 2 more. I'll do 2 little ones. Actually, maybe, where did I start here? You know what? I think this is going to be my last one. I'm going to go right here. Yeah, I've never done that before ever, Debbie, so that was kind of crazy. Maybe if I used a thimble, but I don't know. So to finish, I'm just going to make one more kind of stitch right to here. So it looks like I'm just continuing my line. And that stitch is also going to hold down that last stitch that I did there. All right, and we'll weave in the back here. Well, that's one down. I think we can get to at least one more today. I don't know, let's see. I'm going to snip this and we'll see where we're at. Let's see. You know what? I think we might just call it a day at that. Just because I'm not sure. I don't think we'll get both of these lines done before we leave today. So maybe we'll leave that tomorrow, and then maybe we can maybe put together, sandwich together our other 4 patches that we have done, potentially. But I think I'm going to leave it at that. I'll clean up a little around here, make sure I didn't bleed all over the place. I think I'm fine. It's just, I don't think I got anything anywhere else, but I'll try and clean up this little area down there. Oh, I know what I can show you though before we leave today. So here's that doily I was working on over Thanksgiving that I said I was going to share with you guys. So here's my little travel bag. So I printed out a pattern. Have you guys ever seen these before? They're like little crochet patterns. So instead of having the written instructions, like crochet 1, then chain 3 or whatever, it has little diagrams. So each one, like these little dots, are little chain stitches, and this little cross is a double crochet. So there's like a little key here. And I've never done one of those. I've printed it out super small just so it travels with me. It's actually kind of blurry, so I'm kind of guessing. But I've never crocheted from there before, so that was kind of, I always need like a test for myself each time I work on a project or something new, something that I'm interested in, and that's what this one's all about. So here's this one so far. So this is a different doily than the other ones I've done. So I usually do my grandma's doily that she's been doing forever, and so this one's different. I just kind of downloaded it from Pinterest. This is how it's gonna look when it's done. So I'm about right to this inner edge right there. So see, you can kind of see these petals here. It has definitely more of a grid shape happening to it, like with all this. It's kind of, I don't know, a little bit more gritty that I'm used to, but I'm going to do that ombre thing again. So this is still that sulky 12 weight cotton, and I've been stitching it with a size 5, wait, I thought it was a size 5. Oh no, a size 10, a 1.3 millimeter needle. It's the tiniest freaking crochet hook ever. But I'm almost done with my first color. So up next, I numbered them just to make sure. So here's my number 2, 3, and 4. So it's going to be kind of an ombre out from there. And I don't know, I have no idea how many colors or how many spools this is going to take. So we'll see. I don't know. I might need more than this. But I was hoping this dark one would be the last color because I kind of just really like it. But I don't know. I can probably find something else if need be. But I'm really kind of loving it. And this way of doing it, kind of seeing it all out, is helping me visualize stuff. So I would actually love to try designing something like this one day. And seeing it as a picture is kind of helping me think through it like that a little bit. But so far, it's right here. So I'm pretty happy with it. It's my just chill project to have around. And like I said, I've never done any other doily except for my grandma's doily. So this is a little bit of a challenge for me. But wanted to share. So all right, guys, I'm gonna tip you around, and we'll call it an evening here. Yeah, that'd be fun. So I'd love to do still, I mean, we talked about a kind of like a granny square class, and a granny square is actually, now that I think about it, kind of a great start to a doily, because you do start from the center on a granny square and then you kind of work your way out, and that's how the doilies are. So this is how big it is. It's itsy bitsy bitsy so far. Ooh, it looks pretty just hanging. But yeah, so that's the doily so far, and the kitty cat. We will get this, we'll get this hopefully finished up tomorrow. Here's the stitching we did tonight there. It kind of blends in really, really well, and I think it'll blend into these colors as well. And little Chad all done there. So awesome, guys. Thanks for letting me share with you, and I will get this up on Penguin and Fish Movies on YouTube, and I'll definitely keep you updated on the progress of this doily as it happens. I haven't worked on it since Thanksgiving, but I'd love to keep working on it some more. So awesome, guys. I will see you tomorrow then. Let's finish up this kitty. See you then. Good night.